Hello everyone, welcome back to another battle report. Hope you're all staying well and safe. So we have a British Army in front of you again, and my opponent is Lucas, and we are trying Into the Unknown, which is one of the new missions from the SS book. We did roll for free for all, but I thought it'd be good to get a different game in, and hopefully with my upcoming game with Tito we can do one of the other ones, so just see what they're like, because obviously doing the same mission over and over again, although fun, can get a bit complacent with it. So this is my list. At the moment don't know who's attacking yet, but it doesn't really matter since it's a free-for-all mission. No, not free-for-all, meeting engagement, so you should know how that works out. So I'm trying out a few different things. First thing is the debut of the Guards armoured formation. So this is a Sherman armoured squadron, but they've been upgraded with unflappable to make them the Guards division. So hopefully that will help me out. So the formation contains a HQ of 3 Shermans, and then we have 3 troops of 4 Shermans, and one of the Shermans is the mighty Firefly. So that's my only formation. I got plenty of support. I have a full para platoon, so that is 7 Brendan rifle teams and a Piat. I have my scout contingent of my Daimlers, so that's 2 Daimlers and 1 Dingo, and of course I got my Sexton field troop, and I also have the debut of the Typhoons, so hopefully these will do well for me. So only 2 command cards, the Unflappable card and the Sexton field troop. So my opponent today is Lucas via FaceTime again. Haven't played Lucas since the days of mid-war and the Gazala campaign, so it'll be good to see him in late war. So he has a decent list to play, so let's have a look at what he is bringing to the field. So this is Lucas's list, and as lists go for both of us, this is probably the worst thing I could go up against with my armoured list, as I'm about to show you. So we have the 116th Greyhound Division again. Obviously you get 2 points off each unit for this, so it's quite good if you want a few more units. So let's have a look at the formation. We have the HQ, which is just 2 SMG teams. There's 2 Panzergrenadier platoons. They all have Panzerfausts and a upgraded with Panzerschrecks as well. We even have a 3rd platoon of armoured Panzergrenadiers, so they have their 4 half-tracks, Panzerfausts and 2 Panzerschrecks. And to round out the formation we have 2 8cm mortars. And then it gets worse for me. We have the 3 88cm guns, and then we have 4 assault flaks, and they also have pack front as well. The armoured bit of his list, we have 2 SS Tiger 1s and then 3 Vesps, and that is the model points for his list. Command cards, of course we have the Greyhound card, 116th Panzer Division, so poor last stand and tactics rating goes down, but you get 2 points off everything. The Flak 88s have their assault flaks, so a point cheaper for them, but then they're upgraded to pack front, which makes them quite impervious to quite a lot of things. So very interesting list to play against. I know Lucas wanted to try this list out, probably getting ready for the swarm of T-34s, which no doubt will start hitting us all pretty hard at some point. Hopefully I'm going to win a lottery soon so I can start a Russian force. So as I said before, the mission is Into the Unknown from the SS book. So let's have a look at the board before we set up. Okay, so we have the table set up for Into the Unknown. A nice hub of roads here, crossroad, a junction. So this is why we're here. This is why this is of strategic importance. Links to other battlefields, supply routes. So me and Lucas are rolling a die now, and the highest one is the attacker, and we get to pick a corner to attack from, and the little objective zones will be either side of our deployment. So an interesting game. Not sure how to attempt this one. I think I might hold back a bit and try and whittle down the big guns before I start my armour moving, and see how it goes. So I think either corner is quite good to go for, good to occupy the town, but I've only got that one platoon of infantry, which will be a bit of a problem. Knew I should have gone with my old habit of taking loads of infantry, but still really looking forward to the game. Let's go with the terrain. So we got the fields again, just short concealing terrain. Hedges again, short concealing. When I go into the campaign, we'll use them more as a bocage, which will make things a lot more interesting. A few hills dot this corner, and a little sporadic scattering of some forests. Little town in the middle with a church, more hedges, and more fields as well. So nice, good links for roads. The scout cars are going to have a field day on these. So let's have a look at how deployment pans out. So this is me deployed. I went starting with the Daimlers, the Paras, the Sextons, and a troop of Shermans with the Typhoons starting. So that leaves me with 2 more troops and a HQ in reserve. It's quite tricky with the points. I wanted the Typhoons to kind of start coming in as soon as possible because it's delayed reserves, and I feel they'll have a fair big part to play. So this was my deployment area. Can't really spearhead because the objectives are so close to each other. So this is where Lucas put his objectives, here and here. And strangely, little bubbles off the deployment zone, so it's quite interesting feature this one's going to be. And then we have the horde of German guns over here. So I put one here, and didn't really have a good place to put this one, so I put it here. So if I ever really did get anything in this church, I could hold it. So we've got the big 88s here, looking at my Saxtons, and 2 of them are already in range, so not quite ideal, but hopefully, well, I don't want first turn because I won't be able to put a template on them straight away. There's a pack front right behind them, and then the other pack front's over here, which is one benefit of this mission. And the terrain is, you couldn't see much out of his deployment zone, so he's quite pinned in by here. He's got the 1 platoon and the HQ of the Grenadiers here, and then the mortars and another platoon and the Vesps. So in reserve for Lucas we have the SS Tigers and the armoured Grenadier platoon. Yeah, it's going to be a bit interesting. I feel I'm going to have to pick away at these heavy guns for a couple of turns. So sorry, he might be sat there for a few minutes waiting for me to do anything, but please feel my pain. You don't want me to see me rushing these guns straight away, and there's no turn limit for this one, so I'm going to take my time and also wait for my reserves to arrive. So yeah, you can't blame me. So let's go to the first turn, and of course it's a meeting engagement, so we have to roll to see who goes first. So we'll do that now. Okay, so I had first turn, so I've just prepped some stuff for the remaining turns to go. So the Sherman's pushed up to right behind the hill, so they can't be seen, and my Sexton's moved down the hill onto the reverse slope, so they can't be seen. This guy's poking his head round, so you can still spot down the table, like so, at the horrible big stuff down there, and he's also out of range, which is quite good. The paratroopers did a blitz move and then tactically moved up onto the objective, and the Daimlers have moved behind the hill, and that is it for my turn. So now we're going into the German turn. So Lucas's movement, this Grenadier platoon and the HQ are moving up, and same for this platoon and the Vesps getting into a bit of a better position to lay down some templates, and that is that. So now we'll see if the 8cm mortars are going to pop down a template. Okay, so the 8cm mortars ranged in, first attempt, and they managed to get 2 hits on the Paras, which I saved. But they are pinned though, so that is that. So now going into turn 2, let's try and rally the Paras. So they're rallying on a 3. They do not rally, and then I have a dice for aircraft, and I roll a 4, so they're coming in. as we go into British turn 2. Okay, so what have I done in my movement? I have dug in the paras, because they're not going to be moving any further forward. The Daimler troop has moved, but keeping in cover, because they will still get on the ground because of the scout. And then I've been sat here for about half an hour figuring out whether I'm going to use cannons or bombs. And it's a tough one, it's a really tough one. So, feel like I want to go for bombs and see how that goes. So here we go into the shooting phase. I changed my mind. I went for cannons in the end, and Lucas had some good saves, bounced one of the hits, equal 2, which resulted to nothing, but the 1 pen I did get, luckily. The only other thing I fired were the Saxtons, ranged in right by here, so I basically bagged 2 of the 88s, 2 8cm mortars in the pack front, bailed the first 2, and the other one is okay. And that is where we leave my turn 2. So first up, Lucas, you are rallying your stuff.
Yep. So the 88s is a 6, they're up, and the mortars are 4, so they're good too.
Nice. And then we get rid of my aircraft and we move into turn 2. Nice and quick, these opening turns, no reserves to slow us down yet. So the lead elements of 1st Platoon have made it into the church, with the HQ following behind, and then the other far platoon is securing this right objective to stop the Allies from taking it. And that is it. So now we're going to shoot in. Luckily for me, all the German artillery are now going to be re-rolling their hits, which is thankful for me. But as I've seen in previous games, that doesn't always work out the way I plan. Okay, so the mortars re-ranged in again. Did get a hit, but luckily failed their firepower. The Vesps had to range in here, because that's pretty much the only point they could see that could get anything, but they missed. That was a bit unfortunate. The 88s then picked on the Daimlers and managed to blow one up. We did check, I didn't get an armour save against that. But yeah, so going into my startup step, let's see if the Paras can rally this time. And I try and find the dice. And they don't rally, another 1. So now I roll to see if any of my reserves come on. I get a 4, so no. And then to see if aircraft turn up. 3, which is the other way around. So no aircraft for me, and no reserves for me yet. So into British movement again. Okay, so with the Paras not wanting to do much, they're going to be stuck there for now. Again, the Shermans, I'm reluctant to move them. I want to wait for things to get softened up first, but our Tiger's going to be emerging at some point. The Daimler troop did a cross-country dash with a follow me to get behind the tree line, so they can't be shot at least. And that is it. So the only thing I am going to be shooting is the repeat bombardment, which hopefully goes a bit well for me. So as I went to repeat the bombardment, I took an extra pinned down marker for the pack front. That was pointless because I didn't actually hit anything under there. So again, not rolling higher than a 3 there, which is nice. So now the only thing Lucas has to do in his startup step is 1 dice to see if any of his reserves come in.
Yep. Nope. Roll a 3.
No. So we go into German turn 3. So as much as possible, the HQ and this platoon are in the church. 3 are loitering outside. And the other platoon up here is going to try an assault on the Daimler troop. So that's going to be quite nice. So now we go into the shooting phase. Okay, so with the artillery, the Vesps are struggling to hit anything, and an 8cm mortar has managed to get rid of one of the paratroopers. We went straight into the assault. He didn't stop the assault, he got one hit. Lucas didn't actually kill any of my stuff, but they both got bailed, so that resulted in them all dying. So that's a bit unfortunate for me. So going into my turn 4, let's see if the paratroopers have finished drinking their tea. They have not. Now to see if my reserves turn up, so 2 dice for them, no reserves for me, and then 1 dice for the aircraft. No aircraft either, so my ability to roll anything above a 3 and a 4 is shocking at the moment. So here we go into British turn 4. Okay, so I didn't really have anything to move. The only thing I could move is my tanks, and there's still some big scary guns that I don't really want to provide shots for yet. I did manage to get rid of one of the big guns though, the hardest one. I thought the pack front is gone, but I still can't seem to hit anything here, which is a problem since for some reason 8cm mortars are out artillery in my main artillery. The Vesps, though, at some point will start getting good, which I'm a bit worried about, but that is where we leave things. So, yeah, these paratroopers need to unpin and try and get outside of those templates at some point, but until then, we are still stuck here. So, going into German turn 4, the only thing you've got to do, Lucas, is 2 dice for reserves. No, we're still stuck with our 60% starting force, so here we go, German turn 4. So likewise, Lucas isn't really moving much. He is dug in the guys that are outside the church, but the guys on the other objective are still out. Artillery, the 8cm mortars again took out another paratrooper base, and the Vesps tried to range in back here, but failed to do so. So now we're going into British turn 5. So again, I'm going to try and rally my paratroopers. So let's see what I get. I get a 1 again, so no, not quite done with the T. So now 3 dice for my reserves, and I get a 6 and a 5, so 2 of them are coming in. And then the last thing, the aircraft, and I get a 4, so the aircraft are coming in. So whoa, I have loads of stuff to move now. So yeah, I'm not used to this, so give me some time to make up my mind. Okay, so the Typhoons are going this way for the big guns, and my tanks are waiting for the green light to start moving forward, and that is my movement. So everyone wish me better luck for my shooting, because I need it. Okay, so I'm chipping away ever so slightly. The Saxtons managed to get rid of an 88. The Typhoons did range in, but unfortunately I didn't hit anything after that. So yes, things are getting a little worrying on the artillery front. But only one motivation for Lucas on his 88s as these go back to base.
6, I have 10.
Okay, and then 3 dice for reserves.
5 and a 6, that's both units.
Yeah, last them all on as well. So here we go into German turn 5. Okay, so with reserves in, these guys have dug in. The Tigers have moved on from this point by here, doing a cross check. Unfortunately, one of them failed, and the half tracks have dashed on as well from the other corner. And that is where we end the German movement. So now we go into German shooting, which again will predominantly be artillery. So here we go. No casualties from me this turn. Luckily, the 8cm mortars have ended their kill streak. But going into my startup step, 2 dice for the powers this time because my formation HQ is next to them. And A 1 and a 2, they still are not wanting to rally. There's no point me rolling for reserves because I'm going to get one anyway, and that's my last one. But I do roll to see if my aircraft come on, and they do. So let's see if they can do anything, and let's get into the movement step. Okay, movement. The other tanks are moved on behind the rest. They're going to stay here for now. Waiting for this green light. The other Shermans did a blitz move and then tactically moved around, first of all avoiding any guns that are pointing at them through the town, and guns pointing them from the other side of the town. But luckily they can draw sight on the first couple of half tracks, so that should slow down this little push. And my Typhoons lining up a Tiger tank. Just the one. I just want to try and get one without terrain, be a little bit easier for me. So let's see how this goes in my shooting phase. So I have a message for the quartermaster of the Guards division to actually give us some shells that actually work. The Shermans and the Firefly that could see the lead 2 half tracks didn't score any hits, but that is understandable. It was 6s to hit. Although my Sextons are really struggling again. I did not hit anything under the template. But the Typhoons managed to hit the Tiger and bail it, so hopefully Lucas can roll a 1 followed by another 1, and that would do me a big favour. So German turn 6. There we go, Lucas.
Okay, remount. 5. Alright.
Okay, and I'll get rid of the Typhoons. Okay, so the Tigers, the remaining one who couldn't get over the hedge is over the hedge now, and they're in the field, so maybe getting some shots on some of my Shermans. And the armoured and regular Grenadiers are pushing upfield towards the objective and my tanks. So looking very interesting now. Now we've got the whole army on the board, so now we're going into the shooting. Okay, so no casualties again. There are a few more shots coming in, so we're going into my motivation. So will the paratroopers rally? They do. They already go and rally. And now to see if the Typhoons come in. The Typhoons come in as well. So let's go into British turn whatever. I'm not counting anymore. So go into British turn. Okay, movement-wise, I've finally been able to move the paras, so they're just hopping along this way. The Shermans have moved to get a better position on the Grenadiers in the woods. Probably just push them up a little bit more, right to the edge, just so I can get maximum penetration of the MGs into the woods. And the Typhoons are going to go for a softer target in the form of the Grenadiers. And yeah, that's my turn. Now we go to shooting. Okay, so the Shermans managed to drop 2 of the Grenadiers in the woods, and I think I got one with the Typhoons, ranged in second attempt, so didn't get over much with them. But whittling them down just a little bit. Again, this time actually I managed to hit an 88 with the Sextons, but unfortunately he passed the saves, so not there. So going into German turn, there are 2 pin down units.
Yep, so the Grenadiers in the woods failed to unpin, and the Grenadiers in the field also failed to unpin.
Excellent, that is blunted. So we will go into German turn. Okay, moving for the Germans, the half tracks are moved forward and the HQ have gone in between both platoons to kind of motivate them to keep up the fight and keep on going. And the Tigers as well have pushed up to get more shots than the Shermans. Probably get still just the lead one maybe, because that forest is being a bit of a shield for me at the moment while I wait. They are revving their engines ready. I will start moving at some point. It's just I'm waiting on those bloody Saxons to do something. So we're still going. I have survived another turn unscathed. The Panzer that had a cheeky shot at me from the woods missed. All the artillery managed to range in, but luckily didn't take any hits, and the Tigers missed as well. So I'm lucky starting to take my way. So for the first time in ages, I have no motivation to do. But what I do have is to see if the Typhoons turn up again. And they do on a 5. So the one good thing they're doing, they are turning up a lot, but that seems to be it. So we are going into British turn. Okay, movement-wise, this is probably the most you'll see me move this game. These Shermans have moved to get into a shot on the German HQ, and my Shermans have all dashed up quite quickly to get in position to try and take the game. And the Typhoons are going right behind the artillery units since my other artillery were occupied elsewhere. So that is where we leave everything. So now we're going into my shooting. Okay, shooting wise, I managed to kill the formation commander, so the 2IC is now in charge. Apart from that, I managed to do a line of smoke as the Typhoons failed to range in. Yeah, so they're going to have to find something else to try and kill. And we go into German turn. So again, the Germans have the pinned down unit in the woods and the pinned down armoured grenadiers, but getting rerolls now.
So in the woods, double 1, they don't pin. And the armoured guys, double 6, they do have pin. Wow.
Right, so there's night and day there. So there we go. So now we're going into the German turn. Okay, so the armoured grenadiers are moving up. Got a Panzerfaust and a Panzerschreck shot onto the Shermans. The Tigers have moved back. He doesn't want to do what happened in Fury. And that is pretty much it. The HQ dug in. And now we're going to go into the shooting phase. Oh, the 8cm mortars have moved up as well, and that is it. Okay, so in the shooting phase, one Sherman has been bailed out, and that is it for now. The Vesps have ranged in back there, so that is quite good. So now Lucas is going to have a little think of whether he's going to have an assault or not. Okay, so Lucas doesn't want to do the assault, so to remount my Sherman, no, a 3, so he stays out, and then to get the Typhoons in, and no, they do not come in. So we go into my turn. Okay, with my movement, I've pushed my Shermans back. Thankfully now they're out of range of their big guns. Let's move them just over a little bit more. Of the big guns down by there. The paratroopers have dug in. The rest of the Shermans are moving back, minus the Fireflies, which have stayed put. So I may have a plan, I may not. We'll see how it goes as we go into my shooting phase. Okay, so the Shermans managed to kill one of the teams in the Grenadiers, not pin them. I managed to bail one of the Tigers with the Fireflies, and my Saxtons failed to range in. And that is where we leave the turn. So now, going into Lucas's turn. Come on, mate, roll your dice to get your Tiger back in.
Yep. 3. Yes.
Okay, and then your pinned Grenadiers in the woods.
Yep. So rerolling. We're doing pick.
Nice, and that is it. So now we're going into your turn again. Okay, so the armoured grenadiers have pushed up with the formation commander who did a blitz move, so you can still spot, and the guys who have been pinned for some time have gone as well, and everything else has remained still, mainly maximising shots on the poor Fireflies, who will most likely not be here at the end of this turn. So let's see how this goes. Okay, shooting. The Firefly here is still alive. I've lost another paratrooper courtesy of all the artillery, and both my Fireflies have gone one hit each, and firepowers did not fail. So there we are. So now there's going to be a little assault on this bailed out Sherman and see how it goes. Okay, at the end of the assault we have one dead Sherman and one dead rifle MG42, and that is where we end the turn. So the only motivation I have to do is the paras to unpin, and we know how this goes. Oh, it's a cock dice. A 5. They do it, so they are unpinned. And last thing I need to do now is roll for aircraft, and I get aircraft in again. So here we go into British turn. So the war effort has been redirected onto this objective. These guys have dashed and followed me. The other ones are going around the hill to park up somewhere. And the Typhoons are going for the 8cm mortars. So if I get one of them, that will be last stand central for them for the rest of the game. So hopefully I can get that. So wish me all the best as I go into the shooting again. Okay, so with the recap, I managed to pick off one of the 8cm mortars with the Typhoons, which I'm happy with. I've whittled down 3rd platoon to just 2 Panzergrenadiers and a rifle MG team, and they're pinned. I also bailed a half-track. This is courtesy of the Sextons. The HQ is still alive, and another base has gone off 2nd platoon, so slowly whittling down the infantry down this corner of the table. So now we go into the German turn, so my Typhoons will go back to base. They are really earning their pint at the end of this battle, at the moment, I suppose. So first up, you've got your bailed out half-track that does get his reroll.
Yep. Yes, back in.
Okay, and your pinned down 3rd platoon.
Stand back up.
Okay, and your last stand on the 8cm.
Yep. 6, they hold.
They hold. Excellent. So
Yep.
we go into German movement. Okay, movement. The half-tracks have been sent to the rear, and the remnants of 3rd platoon are moving into attack, which could go very well for them. Everything else is pulling back, and the Tigers attempted a cross-country dash, which they succeeded, and as you can see, the results of the follow me. So now we go into the shooting phase again. Okay, so far with the shooting, the artillery has killed another paratrooper, so they're pinned, and I've also got a HQ tank bailed out. Over here, these are unscathed because everything missed them, but there's an assault coming, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so the assault was a disaster. The 2 Shreks got mowed down by defensive fire, and the unit leader carrying his Panzerfaust failed to hit the Shermans, and then they all ganged up on him, and luckily I did get 1 hit. So that was a bit ropey. So going into my startup step, I have my bailed out HQ Sherman, but courtesy of a reroll thanks to Mr. Formation Commander, who he gets back in, and the paras unpin, and then my aircraft cock dice. Aircraft come back in, thankfully. And here we go into the British turn again. Okay, so the Shermans are moving around, followed by the paratroopers, and these guys are moving to engage the retreating infantry, and the Typhoons are going to do the same, just skirting past the church. So now we go into the shooting. Okay, so shooting, that unit is now down to 1. Almost got the HQ, but not yet. My artillery is ranged in on the church, ready for when they fall back. So going into the German turn, no pin down units. The 2nd platoon is pinned. They got a lot of hits on them.
Yeah. They go to pin.
Okay, and then your last stands. So which one do you want to go first?
I'll do 2nd platoon with the reroll first. Oh, they run. Greyhounds. And the mortars run as well.
Okay, so I just need the 1 more unit, and I can scrape the game ever so slightly. Okay. Oh no, your HQ's pinned as well. I got 4 hits on him and a hit from the Shermans.
Oh yeah. He unpinned.
Nice. So at least he can fall back, and now we're going into German turn, and now the pack fronts can do something. So movement, the formation commander did go into the church. The Tigers failed their blitz, so there were ones coming up at some point, and these Grenadiers are moving towards this objective. So there we go. Now we're going to shooting. Okay, so another turn with me being unscathed. So we're going into my turn now. So the only thing I have to roll for to see if my aircraft turn up again. And they do on a 4, so I'm going to have to figure out where to put these guys. So we're going into my turn again. Okay, my movement, I've got a gun line going for the church. Could lose quite a few of these if this doesn't work, but the paratroopers are there to do something. These Shermans with their company and remaining Fireflies moving over this way, and my Typhoons are going for the exposed infantry coming across out of the trees. So here we go, British shooting. Okay, so I hosed these guys down, got 5 hits, 1 kill, they pinned, but the main thing was my Sherman's direct hitting into the church. I actually got the 1 hit. Lucas failed his save, and then I had a sweet 5 which killed the formation commander, which leaves just 1 formation unit on the board, so that leaves me with a 8-1 victory because I only lost the Daimlers. Took a few hits everywhere else, but not enough to kill a unit. We just had a little chat because we found it difficult to pick an MVP, but our MVP for the British, we think it should be the Typhoons. They didn't do much damage, you know, into a unit in total, but it was enough to like either pin them or force them into a last stand. So, and the fact is, because they were coming around and picking things off where they wanted to, and the fact is that they came in everything apart from I think 2 or 3 turns was earned them that title. And I think the people who fueled up the Shermans did a good job, because the Shermans have really got some mileage after this game, darting around all over the place. And I think a good mention to the paratroopers for just sticking with the game and eventually finishing their T. And now Lucas has to pick a MVP.
I'm finding this, again, really difficult. So many units nearly did amazing things and then didn't. I think it's got to be the Tigers. They're just cool. They don't run. They kill stuff when they're there. I mean, you might have hide all game, but they made you hide, as did all the other big guns.
Yeah.
It's got to be them, just for cool factor alone.
Yeah. I think both our lists were not tailored to this mission, and I think you could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, a really enjoyable game. I like this mission. I think if I was to do it again, I'd probably enjoy using the Americans just for the sheer amount of artillery templates they can put down, and the mobility of them would suit this mission, I think, a bit better. I suppose, Lucas, you probably wouldn't use pack fronts as much. Yeah, so right, so that'll summarise the game. I'll take pictures of the MVPs. Actually, both MVPs are right next to each other, so that'll be easy. So everyone take care, and anything you think we did wrong or could do better, feel free to drop a comment, and everyone stay safe.